And here we go. That's bright. What is up, everybody? My name is Jake, and welcome back to Greta Van Yeet, which is the name I gave this YouTube channel, and I have no comments on that. I don't know what that was. I'm sorry. I am one day tomorrow getting on a plane to go see Greta Van Fleet. I don't think you're going to see this before then. But if it is Thursday, May 2nd, then you got lucky. I had a quick edit. I had that itch, wanted to get to a video, been working pretty hard on a couple of lists, some things I'm very excited about. This is going to be simple and probably longer than it needs to be, like all of them. I want to talk about my record collection today. I'll give you the Cliff Notes version of how I randomly became a records person, and spoiler, it is Greta Van Fleet's fault. Obviously, I saw them twice in August of last year, and I got so hooked that like all I wanted to do was listen to them, and of course, I was listening to them all of the time. But it gave me that itch that comes for so many of us, where I realized that like Spotify, and I had my own copies of the music, but I realized that I wanted the highest quality way possible. So I told my wife, like, we're gonna try a record player. I bought like a $200 record speaker combo, and a couple of records, neither of which were Greta Van Fleet records. But we put on one of those. Like, I just set it up on the kitchen counter. I was like, there's a chance that I listen to this, and it's like, this is going back tomorrow. And well, $200 isn't necessarily cheap. Like, it is cheap for a record player and speakers. But oh man, I turned that on, and it was basically immediate. Like 10 seconds into the first song, it's like, oh yeah, I hear the appeal. We're keeping this. I thought I was going to run with that record setup for a while. 2 days later, that table was broken. So cheap, in fact, probably way too cheap to charge $200 for it. It went back to Amazon. You'll hear a couple of things get returned. If I was going to get into records, I'm going to be a snob about it. I'm not even going to deny it or argue it. So that went back to Amazon. Over the next couple of months, I got a table that was not insane, and a speaker set that I then realized I wanted to really let it thump. I sent those speakers back and ordered larger speakers with subs in them. All in all, didn't spend anything crazy on it, but I was invested. Like, I knew this was going to be a hobby for a long time to come, and we're going to look through my Greta Van Fleet collection. Now, there are 9 records in it, which, yes, there are only 4 albums. One of them is a double EP. I continuously, I may have brought this up every time. Like, it's an album. I have the 4 albums, and then there are some pieces that I imagine fewer people have. Well, I don't imagine. I know fewer people have, and they're worth taking a look at. And I figured we just start in order of when did I acquire them. So this will not surprise you. The first offering in the list is Starcatcher, naturally. It is the album that hooked me. It was still brand new to stores, and I actually started doing some shopping, and pretty quickly it was like, I'm gonna go get the Target version. I have a little sentimental love of Target. I worked there for way too long, but a lot of good people, a lot of good memories. But I actually just went that way because I liked the record. It was a translucent red with like a glittery, I don't know. I don't even know how, like, glittery inlays to it. I don't know. I'm not an expert in that stuff. The glitter is that stuff. I'm not an expert in glitter. I'm sorry. So we went out and bought it. I brought it home, immediately put it on, and it did not sound like I was hoping it would have. It was pretty rough and skippy. And not that it was skipping or slipping around, but it just had a wobble to it. And so it was like, well, I'm looking for the best possible. This is going back to the store. So I go back and they're like, great, exchange it. That's the policy when it's opened. And I'm like, okay. I go back there and I look on the shelf. There are 6 copies. I had taken the 7th. Why hasn't anyone been buying it? Because people are stupid. I don't know. And like, it was very obvious. This was not a copy problem. This was either they got shipped poorly or sat too long in a bad position. Like, they were all clearly going to be warped. I took it up. I told them this, and they were like, "Well, we'll exchange it, and if it's a problem, come back." And so I did. I opened it, listened to it, same problem. Went back, and it was very clearly no more Target uh, records at that point. Well, at least not for this record. So I went, I returned it. I told them all of them have the same problem. Just give me my money back. They did, of course. And I ended up just buying the translucent version on Amazon. And I guess those that aren't just plain black will actually take a look at. It is super good looking, simple, clear, powerful. Fantastic. You should absolutely be listening to this album in this way. I made a video on a lot of the nuanced things that I heard. A lot of those, especially with Starcatcher, were noticed because I was listening on the record, and it gives you that perfect mix. You hear things you haven't heard before. I am a record junkie now. And then the next one I got is my copy of The Battle at Garden's Gate. We'll bring it up close because I don't know if you'll be able to tell. It is the green special edition, which you can't exactly see. You'll be able to see it on the record itself. This is 2 records. Both of them are this green marble that is very good looking. I'm super happy with that choice. And obviously, this is a great goddamn record. Watch me struggle to put it in the case like an asshole. Now, this happened very quickly that I realized what people were talking about. Everyone always said, like, records have stories. That's part of the appeal. It's not just that it sounds better, which it does, but there is like some sentimental value to a few of these, which I didn't believe in. Even when I got a record table and I was like, the sound's great. Like, that stuff's cheesy and silly. And then Christmas time rolled around, and I'd been slowly and still am slowly working on getting my dad into the band, and like, it's coming. It's going to happen. They're too good for it not to. But we'd spent a week together in New Mexico, exactly where you want to spend a week with your family in New Mexico. It's a lovely place, beautiful country, and spent a lot of time driving back and forth all over the place, all over the state, or at least a part of the state, and ended up listening to most of the Greta Van Fleet albums. And like, I knew I could get him, and like, that sentimental value with rock and roll has already been there. Like, I can openly own that, like, there's like a deep seated, like, reminds me of my childhood and my parents listening to rock. So being able to start push it back up, my son is getting it from me. I can send my rock and roll back to my dad. I bought him the 4 CDs, of course, for Christmas, and I ordered this alongside them, and I just thought, that's cool. This album coming in that same collection, like, it's sweet to have gotten them as a package deal. Uh, he's coming around a little bit, but the time will come, Father. The time will come. And this is just, it's a banger. It's a fantastic listen. I love that it's 2 albums, 3 songs per side. It's a cool listening experience with this, and that green is good looking. Now, the next in the list is my copy of From the Fires. It's just plain black. Quickly has gained some sentimental attachment as well. So as I was record shopping, like, when I realized, oh shit, I'm hooked, I was going to one of my friends who I work with, asked for his advice, ended up getting a table similar to his, and then he ended up upgrading his table. Like we went through a little record spending spree together. So I got him a copy of Starcatcher for Christmas. He's into bonkers shit. Big fish guy, big King Gizzard guy. If you've ever listened to that off the wall type of music, and he in return gave me a copy of From the Fires. I wasn't super into this one at that point. I was still listening to the new stuff constantly and had not gotten to this. It's good. It is a great record. I've really come around to it over the last few months, and having this copy is great. And then times were good in December. We were both having a terrific time in life. And then, like, we went through some shit at work. And we're not going to get into that. We're never going to get into that. But goddamn, we went through like 6 weeks of rough times. And it's something that I look at that and I think, goddamn, hey, friendship is magic. We won. I love you, Kyle. All right, now the next two I got together. So I had actually bought a copy of Anthem of the Peaceful Army in black, but I really wanted the 5th anniversary red, and that's what this is. This came out after I got hooked on the band, so I was like, this is the one that I should own. It's a good looking translucent red vinyl, but unfortunately, I don't know how to say this other than it sucks. And I think the pressing just sucks. So I wanted the red version. I'd missed the drop. I wasn't on the record train just yet when they released it. And then several of them popped up on eBay along with the next record you'll see. And generally these were around $70 at the time, and it popped up for 30, and it was like done. The black version had actually been pretty rough shape when it came, so still in that Amazon window, sent it back. God bless you, Amazon, for just taking things back. Although, if you're going to sell records, sell them in good condition or they're coming back. This red copy, I got it. I put it on. It's slipping. It's looping. And funnily enough, and I have a video. It was looping. It was playing that same part over and over again. I took that video because I was like, this is actually kind of sick. But the second half of it was so much worse, just all over the place. Like no song plays start to finish without a problem. And I was like, that's what you get for shopping on eBay. Sent it back. Ended up buying a copy of this red one on Amazon. And that loop is very distinctive, and it was there on that copy as well. And the second half sucked just as bad. Send it back and get a third copy, which is this one. It's a little bit better, but not perfect. I am going to buy a standard black copy at some point because, well, I love this. It's beautiful. I don't want to give it up. It's not a good listening experience. That's unfortunate. Bet y'all didn't see it coming that there was like a bummer part of the vinyl collection. Still a good album, though. Still a good album. The 5th one in the collection came with the original eBay copy, is Black Smoke Rising, the original EP, the 4 legendary songs. And as you can probably tell by the soft glow of electric sex in the window, it is still sealed. And this one was a weird one. I never thought I was going to buy this. It was always $300, occasionally like $250 on eBay. Like this is old. This is their oldest pressing. They weren't huge. Not a lot of copies made it out there, relatively speaking. Like no one was buying it for that. Like absolutely not. No one was buying it for that price. And then all of a sudden, the same seller I bought that original Anthem copy popped up online, and it was like, hey, we've got a few thousand of them. So I snatched it up. I think it was under $20. Like, I don't know. Those of you who wanted $300 from it, you're silly. Be realistic. You can't ask that. You're not going to get it. I bought this, and in my mind, I was like, I have a vinyl with all of these songs on it. This stays sealed. This is a collector's item for me. And I firmly believe that, but I've already wondered. It's like there's a record in there. There's a goddamn Greta Van Fleet record in there. At some point, I'm gonna have to find out. I don't know when. I've no plans to listen to it. I'm in no hurry, but I'm like, man, if they take a few years off and all of a sudden we've not gotten new music for an extended period or something, there may just come that night where it's like, hey, let's listen to something that we've not put on the player before. So I do think it'll get opened. That's probably years away, but I really like just having this as a part of the collection. It makes it feel very complete. And of course, it's not complete. I don't have every variant of every record ever, but I have a copy of everything they've released, at least one form of a copy. So the day will come, and then I'm sure it will be a good listen. I'll be very interested to hear if there's a mix difference or a mastering difference where the sound is a little bit different on this EP. Very interested to see and excited when the time comes. All right, there's 4 more records. We're going to look at them together because it is a collection. Many of you will know what's coming here, and these are my Strange Horizons live sets. They are clear records. They all share the same artwork on the cover with different colors. Very, very cool. This, for those who are not familiar, was the first tour out of COVID. They had released Gardens Gate. They'd done no touring, and they went to 4 cities, pressed shows from all 4 of those to vinyl. So we have that Bridgeport one, which you've seen is opened. We also have Nashville. We've got Chicago. And we've got Los Angeles. I've debated the whole time I've had this video in my mind. Do we talk about the dollar value? And I love you guys, and I'm fine being an open, honest person, even when it comes to money. I'm going to talk about it. I'm cringing inside. I spent too much fucking money on this. I will own that. It's not to brag. It's only to document my insanity. So there are 2,500 copies of each, and they obviously came out a couple years back. Very hard to find. Well, not hard to find. Very hard to find without spending too much fucking money on it. So I was watching them. This was like the holy grail of records for me, and I did want all 4. I am that guy. Like, the sets are all similar, a lot of the same songs. They all have their own unique touch, but in my mind, I don't want an incomplete collection. So I started watching. Amazon had them around $500 a copy. Yes, that's $2,000 for those of you doing the math at home. And it was like, I just can't. eBay, at the time when I started looking, which was probably Thanksgiving-ish time, eBay had a lot of copies online. They were generally 400, 350. Generally, I think led to the same range that the complete sets were. There were 4 complete sets on eBay. There were 2 for $1,600. One of them sealed, one of them not. And then there were 2 for $1,800, both of them sealed. And I was saving. And I was not going to spend cash on this. I have credit card points. I've got some work benefits that pay me out gift cards and stuff like that. And I was slowly saving. And somewhere in January, I don't even know when exactly, I was watching these all the time. I had about $1,100 in the Strange Horizons fund. And my wife knew that I was getting these. I was being very transparent with her, although I don't know if she's ever heard how much I actually spent. I just told her it was a lot of money, but I was not going to take money out of the bank. So she shouldn't concern herself with it. And now here I am publicly owning it. No regrets. No regrets on it at all. We'll talk about how good it is in a second. But it was January. I was getting notified every time new ones were listed. A new complete set got listed, which had not happened, and it got listed at $16.20. $20 was important. I don't know. And I was like, I'm gonna watch it. I was watching them all on eBay. Maybe I'd get an offer. Maybe I'd get some notifications of price drops. I was like, I'll watch it. I'm obviously not going to buy it. I'm $500 short. And I click that watch button, and like 10 minutes later, I get a notification. It's like, hey, the seller sent you an offer. And I opened up, and it was $1,400. Well, 1420. The 20 was important. And I was like, still no. And then I was like, but what if? And I sent him an offer back, and I said $1,200. Took the 20 out. Real bargain. And like 2 minutes later, it was sold to me for $1,200. And it was like, oh shit, did I really just commit to that? That was dumb. So I pulled the funds. I was a little gun shy, obviously, but quickly overcame it. I'd been saving for this. I got a deal. I did have to take like 50, $60 out of the bank. Totally fine with that. Ordered them. And to be clear, the seller was very transparent, noted that this one was not perfectly sealed. Like it had been ripped. It as far as I could tell hadn't been opened. It would have been very impressive for them to get the shrink wrap back on without ripping it further. But I did just open it and put it in a sleeve, and it was like, that's the first one we're going to listen to is this Bridgeport version. I only listened to this last week. So these are very much special occasion vinyls for me. I sat on this for a long time. I waited for my dear friend the Durs, who people are at this point, if you've watched all the videos, everyone just wants to know who the fuck is the Durs. Full legal name, the Durs. I didn't name him. That was his parents. I was like, hey, let's listen to this together. Like, we've been to a couple shows together. You're probably the closest to as obsessed as I am, which is probably not that close. Rightfully so. Durs is sane. I am not. It was like, let's get together. Took about a month to finally find a night where like no kids, no wives were around. Popped it on, and goddamn, it's good. I've listened to a lot I've listened to 4 Greta records, but I've listened to them a lot of times. The first couple of songs, I was like, I don't know. I don't think it sounds as good as I would have thought in my mind. And then you kind of adjust. So just that live sound is different on vinyl. But once I kind of broke through, got out of my own head and like fear of buyer's remorse, fantastic. The sound is so good. This is a cool set list. Like I said, a lot of them have similars. This one does have Built by Nations, Trip the Light, fantastic, Broken Bells, which is not on all of the copies. And then it also has Stardust chords on the last side, which is only on this one, and You're the One on side B. And that song right there, like that was the best I've ever heard it. The quality of the recording, Jake playing it live, absolutely fantastic. That was my favorite part. And man, it is a journey on their live shows. So it opens up Built by Nations, Trip Light, Safari Song, Black Smoke Rising classics. Second side of this is Heat Above. It's You're the One, which they play on an acoustic guitar. Broken Bells, which they play on an acoustic guitar. Light My Love, like soft ballady songs. And then you get to side C, and it's Age of Machine and the Weight of Dreams. Like, it is just insane what they will do. Hey, here are 4 soft, uplifting songs. And then, hey, technology's ruining your life, and I'm going to shred guitar solos for 10 minutes. And then they're not even done. They go back to play Stardust, When the Curtain Falls, Highway Tune, My Way Soon. There, we said it all. My only feedback, My Way Soon is not a closing song. And I suspect I'll open Nashville next, which has Age of Man and Watching Over. My Way Soon's the closer there too. I mean, they can do whatever the hell they want. They shouldn't do that. I figure from there we'll probably open the Chicago one third, which has Flower Power and the Barbarians as the unique songs. And then the last one I suspect will open is Tears of Rain, and it has Lover, Leaver, Taker, Believer as the entire side D. So that's going to be a 25-minute single song side, and that is badass. Now they're not getting opened anytime soon. As tempting as it is after listening to one, like these are for special occasions. Like I'll wait till somebody new gets hooked. Somebody comes in town who I don't see very much who likes the band. Like I'm looking for those opportunities to make it special the first time, and then I'll probably listen to this into the ground and wear it out before I even open any other ones because I just can't get enough of them still. So that's my record collection. It's a lot of fun. Sound quality's fantastic. If you are into music like I am, it's kind of a must for me now. It's an expensive, dumb hobby. I wouldn't recommend it, but like I kind of recommend it. And that is it. I will catch you guys next time. I've got some things I'm very excited for on the way, but first, I am going to Austin tomorrow to see Greta Van Fleet in a few days. And goddamn, that's going to be fun. And also, for those of you who are not aware yet, I am on Instagram now at I'm in Delaware, which is a deep 90s joke. And hopefully, when Greta releases some new music, I can steal a song title for my at. We'll see. Probably not. There's crazed people out there who are going to get there first. And while I'm crazed and unhinged, and this video will show that, I'm not unhinged about my social media presence. So I'm very hinged.